Hello, hello, hello. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back to Crypto Traders Arena. It's Kevin here, and guess I'm going to do a little stream here on a Tuesday like normal, but we are just getting sort of back in the swing of things after the holiday, and probably didn't do the best job stating what our actual holiday schedule was. But for the most part, we shut down for the last couple weeks, week and a half or so, and tried to get some time off. Of course, still found a way to go and trade away during that time, but we didn't do much streaming. And this week we'll be getting back in the swing of things starting today. So I guess on Sunday, Paul and I will be back to do the crypto weekly review show. And like I said, I'm here today, and not sure what the intention of this show is going forward. We'll see if I keep doing these on Tuesdays, or maybe we'll be making some changes. I don't know. But today I thought it'd be cool to just maybe just zoom out a little bit for a second and look at some of these macro charts, and can talk about some altcoins. I think the reality is there's not a lot of weekly W's to be buying. So if you're sort of the weekly kind of investment trader, then sort of sitting on your hands right now, and hopefully getting some sells off in this rally that we've had. So. Hey, Miku, and there's a name I can't really say very easily. Borsido Cord? I don't think you're new, though, so welcome. That's a pretty quiet day, actually. We didn't have very many people in the New York session, but we did get started there today. I wasn't actually very active. I didn't do any, usually I like to trade the CME futures market, but I had the screen on, but I wasn't really looking to jump right in here. Probably just ease my way back into the year, or into this new year. And pretty interesting markets, though, in the indexes. So I did want to look at the stock market really quick, but I thought I would just kind of look at some of these weekly charts here really quick. Try to not spend too much time on them, but just kind of fascinating that the stock indexes, the stock ETF indexes gap down today. Looks like the SPY might be trying to fill it already, but let's see, just kind of zoomed out really quick. You can see the risk on's definitely on. I mean, I got SPY, SP 500 right here, NASDAQ, QQQs up here, Russell 2000 in the lower left, and then Bitcoin and Ethereum. And of course, everything's pointing up, but then DXY over here is basically pointing down, catching a little bit of a bounce here in the start of the year. But I don't know, generally favorable risk on market. And of course, crypto's been ripping. And of course, Bitcoin even broke out again out of the range here. And so I'll talk about that in a minute. But really quick, I just want to mention a couple things on these weekly charts. One is the DXY is just a question of whether or not we're in a range here, and we're actually going to be setting a base somewhere in here, or if we're in a bigger picture downtrend. I think it's too early to say for sure, but you can kind of see the reaction that's happening here right now. I mean, if you just drew some fibs off of those lows there, I mean, we came down into 78.6, almost even hit 88.6, and now potentially you're putting in some sort of bottoming pattern here for the moment. So not a huge surprise to see at least a reaction here. But when I look at this zoomed out, I see the 200 period weekly moving average down here right at 61.8 fib of the whole range. And I just feel like that's going to get tested at some point. So at minimum, and the real question with the DXY is, we're in this downtrend, had a strong dead cat bounce right up into the 50% level, put in an M right in like the dump chaser zone. I don't know where my little orange box went, but I guess I had a little orange box there. And we talked about this like several weeks back. Weekly M came in, broke down in the dump chaser zone, and of course rolled back down into the bottom of the range, with this being range lows. But this M in the dump chaser zone kind of suggests the possibility that we might be starting a bigger picture downtrend. So I don't know. This is a lower high at the moment. Reload zone's down here. It seems like we could easily drift down into these kind of lows down the road. And I suppose that would be generally favorable for risk on markets going forward into the year. So, I mean, and also, I mean, I'm very optimistic about crypto. Stock market, I kind of don't even care that much, but it's sort of all things are pointing in the right direction for crypto into the year. So, I mean, you know, does the dollar bounce up into, you can see the moving averages have now crossed bearishly here, and 13 EMAs often tested here on these crosses. You know, you get the cross and then the bounce into it and then the rejection. And so I could see the DXY pushing up into that to that 13 and then possibly getting rejected. And we'll just see if it has to come down and at least FU the old lows here and hit the 200. But that's going to be strong support either way. So like if we do get down into there, that might be the place for the bounce. But I think it's a little early to say this is a downtrend. You know, we might just be in a range here, but it is interesting to just see the 200 lumen right there. So we'll see what happens to the old DXY, but this sort of coordinates with, so say, yeah, maybe we do bounce up into that 13, who knows, but it's kind of funny that the like these things gap down today. So like this is the S&P 500 ETF, and hasn't taken the high out yet, actually. The all-time high, that is, never, or just couldn't quite. I mean, obviously we had this super strong bounce straight up for the last quarter of the year, last 3 months or so. Couldn't actually hit the high, but I just, today, this kind of an interesting start to the year. I mean, these are weekly candles, of course, but this new candle is only a day old. Market just opened up again today. And it's kind of like an island top here, potentially, right? With even like a double gap. It's like we've gapped up twice, put in kind of a shooting star, and now we've gapped down, which they're trying to fill it desperately here. But although the market just closed, so yeah, they didn't fill that today. We'll see, though. By the end of the week, maybe this gap's filled. But if it actually starts heading lower here the rest of the week, that's kind of an ugly 3-bar topping looking pattern. So kind of interesting to see. However, it seems likely that the highs will still be tested. And also, generally, we're still just in a really strong uptrend. I mean, again, just kind of sticking with this theme of zooming out a little bit and using the 200 moving average. I love to use the 200 period moving average as just like a quick way of just asking where the trend is. And clearly, like the stock market, the trend's been up for a long time. I mean, all the way going back to 2010 when we broke the 200 and then found support against it. In 2011, that's kind of what you expect to see in a transition into a bull. We got through it, came back and checked it, and then went into this bull market. And arguably, even the COVID lows were still just into 200 support, even though we lost it. Just got right back above it, reclaimed it, and started heading higher. And then most recently in 2022, found support against the 200 again, and just strong bounce off of that. So clearly, we're still in like a macro uptrend here. But it is. And there's nothing suggesting down here except for the potential little island top, but that's doesn't seem that relevant just yet. Let's see what happens here later on. But point being, everything's pointing up here. I think they'll probably test the highs, and there's nothing you can really do here except watch and see what happens when the highs are tested. Can it keep moving higher? We'll see. Either way, the strong support down here against the old high and the 13 EMA. So I do kind of expect that EMA to be tested there at some point. So could easily see it just like ripping down there and bouncing before even testing the highs. But no real point here other than it's just interesting to see such a key level here that we're coming up into. And I do just keep thinking of Stanley Druckenmiller saying he keeps saying that he thinks the stock market's going to range for 10 years. I just think that's funny because, like, what if he was right and this high is the top of the range and we basically just go into this massive range for 10 years that, all the way down to the COVID lows. So, like, we could could bounce around in some crazy range for 10 years. I don't know, just, that's very wide. So like, there's going to be plenty of room to have like sort of mini bull markets inside of there. But we could easily just go sideways for the next 10 years, like he thinks. And that would be like oscillating around the 200. That's getting a little ahead of myself, but really I would just say, like, I mean, look at back here, kind of, that's what I imagine he thinks. This was, 2000s. And rolled over after that fuckery of that era, the pretty bad bull market, and then from 2000 to 2008 and then down to the bottom of the range again. So that was like a 20-year range, basically. Even if you started back here, it's kind of funny how it just this huge range for quite a long time. Like that could maybe be starting here, I suppose. I mean, I think it's way too early to say that, but if he's right, I'm just basing that on him. But you can see how like lower levels could be tested here down the road. I mean, there's kind of a lot of open air left. Actually, I don't know if you really call that open air. In fact, we kind of had a nice healthy test of the 200 here and the 50% level and then bounce. So really the trend's still up. I don't know, but the only, I'm getting a little off topic here, but think about how much work it will take to turn the stock market over. Look at the 200 just pointing up on the weekly. Like it would take a lot of ranging to sort of round that 200 back over, kind of like here. That was the point I wanted to make. So we were in like a strong uptrend. It took all that to even start to round the 200 over, and then sure enough, it ended up resolving bullishly again. So anyway, very uppy stock market, obviously, for a long time, most of our lives, with the exception of some blips, which in hindsight, these were horrible times, but they just look like blips on the screen now. It's crazy. But anyway, I don't mean to be getting too off track on the stock market. Let's just see what happens at the highs here. And I'll just mention that the NASDAQ QQQ actually did take out the highs, and it's actually gapped. It's interesting that they gapped through the all-time high and then gapped back down it today, and it's not trying to fill the gap at the moment. So that's kind of like another little island top right against the highs. That's not like a great look. But nonetheless, strong support down here against the old high and 13 EMA. So, there's some sort of little probably ranging in store for us as it tries to figure out what it's going to do at the highs here, and whether or not it's going to take out moving average support and actually roll over. And of course, in the bigger picture, any moves back against the 200 are support, in my opinion. So nothing's broken here. So I don't know. What am I saying here? Just stock market, blah, blah, blah. It's just testing the highs. We'll see what happens. Can't really be, if we were trying to trade the QQQs here as investors, I don't think longing here is a good idea, right? We want to look for some consolidation in these moving averages and a new trade to set up. And that's just nowhere near now. And like I've said, basically for the last 6 months, my focus is on crypto anyway. It's just kind of fun to talk about these charts and kind of trying to get a bigger, I'm just trying to get a sense of the sort of, like, to be fair, we do have the DXY coming into support. Even if it dips against the 200, there is support here. So like if we find a strong bounce on the DXY here, then I would expect these highs to get faked out and, coming back in the range. So when you just kind of look across these top three charts, that's sort of what my gut tells me is, yeah, maybe there's another like FU dip on the DXY to sort of take the low out, and then it bounces here. And then these things can roll back over to like the 200 again. So that's kind of like, looks like it's setting up. So that would be, maybe there's some sort of first quarter rollover, first half of the year rollover for the stock market. And, Russell 2000, I won't talk too much about, but it's just testing range highs and then gapping back down into it. So just kind of still range bound in the Russell. So until we start trending higher here, truthfully, I'm not that excited about small cap stocks, but to be fair, I've seen some small cap stocks that look pretty good. In fact, I had a biotech stock here gap up like 200% today. It was a free position I had. This LBPH, I was surprised to see. Boom, damn. Yeah, like they had some good news about their seizure. They have a drug that helps seizures. I don't know the exact details, but yeah, this is one that I had bought back here in that W and went underwater for a while, sold on a double, and then today, yeah, boom, man, that thing is even higher now. It was 200% right here on the day, so it's just been shooting up, and now I'm really getting off on a tangent, but these are always tricky because when a stock gaps up like this, a lot of the time it just comes right back down and starts filling the gap. This one looks like it wants to keep pushing higher. I did sell some on the open here when I saw that, and then I'm just going to see how much farther this thing can go. The funny thing is when I originally bought this, this was one of those, now I'm really getting off track, which isn't what I meant to not do, but Hell, we might as well start off 2024 with the same shit I was doing last year, which is just basically just bouncing all over the place when I do these shows. I just wanted to say when I did buy this is one of those classic. It was a biotech stock, which I kind of they're a little harder, but they had like tons of cash on the books, tons of insider ownership, and the insiders were all long from down here, and it just seemed like there was no reason for them to sell, and they owned like quite a bit of the float, so like sort of a no brainer that the bottom would come in around here. Of course, I had to go underwater for a while. But it just was one of those ones that seems like the only way it was up. And of course, now they just had some sort of positive test results, and this thing launched. Anyway, it's a little off topic, but and I don't know if I think that's still considered a small cap for sure. Yeah. But my point is yeah, I'm starting to see a little bit of nicer looking charts in small cap stocks, and I'm still sticking with my sort of, in general, I want to see this go into a real uptrend and actually get outside of this range and start trending higher for me to get excited about those small caps. You can kind of see the ABCDs that might be coming in, and maybe the Russell can get up here down the road, and sort of unlike actually just zooming out too, like same uptrend has been intact, or was intact through this whole period, and then COVID tested it and ripped straight higher, just like the bigger indexes. But you can see how much earlier the Russell went into sort of like this sideways range against the 200 here for now, like what's been like a year and a half or so. It just was bouncing around there, couldn't get going. And so, the sort of small cap stock market, it was really good right here. There was like a lot of like crazy banging out doubles kind of stories through here. And then it really wasn't happening during this whole time. There's always some outliers, but in general, most of the shit stocks were just actually suckering people in and then going down. Which that's a whole story for another time. Is I'm starting to think that these crappy stocks are even more scammy than crypto, man, if you could believe it. But man, they know how to fleece the public. They're like pros at it. So you got to be careful. I think with small caps, when it's like a very positive time, like during this COVID rally, when everything was going and like the GameStops were like meme stocks and all that shit was going crazy, and just a general wind at your back through here, then like those small caps become really good, sort of banging out doubles ideas. But in a situation like this range, it's like there's just not enough gas in the tank to push those names up, it seems like. Of course, I'm still learning this stuff. I mean, I've only traded stocks, well, really only the last cycle. I mean, a little bit the cycle before, but mostly the last cycle. And then the whole COVID thing was very favorable to trade. So it's like I kind of got a skewed perspective, maybe. Well, plus with the crypto being so bullish. And then so after that, I kind of learned, that's how I sort of, I learned what that bear market was going to be like in small cap stocks. And it sort of made me less enthusiastic about them, actually, because especially when there's so much possibility in crypto, that's the thing, is like altcoins, to bang out a double in altcoins is a lot easier than in stocks, but it can still be done. And of course, I'd like to do both. And just to end this conversation with that, it's like I do want to see this trending up, and I want to see the 200 trending up, and just I want everything wind at my back, so to speak. Trend is your friend kind of trading, before I get too excited about these stocks. But there are like a couple that I like sort of saw that, damn it, now I'm going to really get off track and talk about stocks. I can't help it. But I'm talking about trends anyway. It doesn't matter whether it's crypto or anything. Like this is a pretty good example of one, actually. I started to kind of think, oh, this is another free position I have that went way underwater after my I guess the free position I got was back here, February 2022. So yeah, off of that W, and then it went to just zero, basically. Not really, but it's on its way. I wanted to say I saw this W coming in. This is actually a good example of my point, though. It's like I saw a little W coming in here, and I was like, oh, cool. Maybe if that can break out, this thing might turn. Of course, it has tons of upside. But you can see how it just got immediately rejected against the moving averages, and now it looks like it could easily just make new lows again. So perfect example of like this market here that I'm talking about. As long as that Russell 2000 is stuck in the range, it's like these things don't have enough oomph to really start turning the corner yet. Anyway, it's enough of all that stock bullshit. I don't even think. I mean, I do see you guys chatting away in here. I wasn't even sure if anybody was even in here. And I don't think, well, Nathaniel, hey there. Nathaniel cares about stocks, so I'm just doing this for him. Although he doesn't trade the piece of shits that or he kind of does. He does actually. In fact, I've most recently seen Nathaniel. You've been like trading the EVs again. It looks like or something. Go EV and of course he likes the crypto stocks, which have looked pretty favorable here. And that I guess we are talking about stocks because now I see somebody's asking about coin too. So Coinbase rugging hard today. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I saw Mika's getting excited about stocks. So maybe you guys will. Nathaniel saying he trades lots of junk. It's true, but you're trading setup. I mean, I love like Nathaniel. It's a perfect example of how there's a million ways to trade, and everybody finds their niche. And Nathaniel's niche is kind of swing day trading a lot of these volatile stocks, and especially the crypto stocks have been doing really well. And somebody's asking about coin, saying it's rugging today, and I did notice coin, so it is worth looking at. And that actually kind of sort of ties in the sort of all. Well, I didn't even really get into crypto yet, but I guess we're because I wanted to make a point about crypto. Which we're getting into that right now. We'll start with coin though. Did see coins coming off pretty good today. I don't know. I don't know if there's any sort of fundamental story or something that's causing pressure on Bitcoin or on Coinbase, or if it's just a little too far, too fast kind of thing. And in the bigger picture, it's not that big of a, it's a pretty down day. This is a weekly chart. And of course, all day today has just been straight down and that candle opened. And of course, Coinbase ripped pretty hard here. I see a gap here at the 13 EMA at $131. Probably have to come back down there and then see where we're at. Support's probably against the head and shoulders neckline, which the head and shoulders probably hasn't actually hit yet. But I was talking about this head and shoulders a while back in these names. Like, it's funny. It's kind of a weird one, but I mean, I think it's still very valid. The head wasn't that much lower than the left shoulder, but nonetheless, nice horizontal neckline that's set up. And I guess the target, we'll just draw that target for fun here and see if it actually got hit. I doubt it. Let's see here. Yeah, so 197 is the head and shoulders target. So there's probably still a little bit more room to get up there, or still likely to pop up there and hit that target. But so it didn't quite hit the head and shoulders target. Now we're putting in what looks to be like a potential empire, but this is just the beginning of the week, so we'll have to see how this candle actually closes. But I could easily see tests of the 13 EMA coming in store, which I could say that about a lot of these markets, including those stock indexes. I think I said that. They all kind of rallied pretty far away from the 13, and that's signs of a strong uptrend, but it also can be tested at any moment. Like even on the downside here, you can see how like we started moving pretty strongly down, had to come up, test 13, it became resistance, had to move down again, came up and tested again, became resistance. And it took a long time to turn the 13 here, but that's just happening on the bull side here. Like any moment we can come down and hit that 13, and then we'll just have to see if it bounces or not. But this might be a sign of like a little bit of exhaustion coming in crypto, I would say, like, which may or may not be happening. But I guess if you're kind of, well, let's just move on to, well, let me see what somebody's exact question was about. Well, people are just throwing in, or Nathaniel threw in a bunch of stock names. Let me try to catch up with the comments a little bit here. Miku said he started his stock journey this year. Yeah, I saw you talking about that in the chat, or in Discord. That's cool. Hopefully we have some opportunities. Nathaniel put a bunch of names in there that he likes to trade. So if you're interested in that, go look at his, he's trading like Go EV, Nikola, Tupperware, the metals company. I think that is Neo. Oh, I saw Neo was looking kind of interesting a little while ago, a few days ago. Carvana, Blink. Yeah. So anyway, um, yeah, and you don't marry. He's saying he also doesn't marry these names. Yeah, they're just trades. I appreciate that. You're not trying to like pick the next best thing since sliced bread. But of course, if you're a trader, I mean, if wherever you can find enough volatility to take advantage of the strategy or the edge that you're trying to execute, and maybe you find that you like to trade those shit stocks like Nathaniel, and that's where the volatility works for you, and that's where your strategy works. Or maybe you like to trade futures. It just, there's a million different ways to approach this. You just have to find what works for you. And if you find something that works for you, it's always funny because there's always going to be somebody else that's going to be like, oh, fuck trading those stocks. You should trade this. And of course, people are always going to have their opinions, but really you just got to find what sort of works for you. And that's part of the whole process of becoming a trader. Like you kind of have to like settle into what's, what works best. And as it turns out, there's just a million different ways you can trade. So I wish everybody the best of luck finding out what works for them. Miku's saying they're good for doubles. Yeah, stocks are good for doubles, I guess. Or definitely. It's just you kind of have to have the wind at your back, like I was saying. And it's also a lot like altcoins. You got to like sort of chase the narrative. Like, they'll kind of like the EVs might pump, and then maybe like something else, some other sector. I think if I was going to say something about stocks and like sort of sell half on doubles, establish free positions, kind of build up a lot of names. I've sort of started. I've kind of gravitated away from that a little bit. Like I'll still do that in altcoins. But the hardest part for stocks with me is there's thousands of names, and so if you're trying to like bang out doubles and buy like weekly W's, that's great. It's just that there's like a lot of names to choose from, and it's a little harder to narrow it down. Like I kind of like crypto for that matter, because it's kind of like crypto's all going to move at the same time, and then if you own a bunch of names, some will outperform. And so like the whole idea is like, can I have like 100 or so of these, especially if they're free positions, and then some do 10x, some do 20x, some do more, whatever, some don't really perform. That's kind of how that works really well in that sense, because you own a bunch of different names that are all kind of part of the same market. It seems easier to do that in crypto, in my opinion. Whereas stocks, there's just like thousands of names across a bunch of different sectors, and there's a lot more moving parts and a lot more, so it's like, it's harder to load up on like 100 different stocks, and you're probably going to get burned a lot more. And also, in my opinion, like it's pretty scammy. Like I said, like they have, these guys are pros at like diluting these things and just fleecing the public. So like, it's a little harder is all I'm saying. So maybe Nathaniel's approach is just like, just trading momentum and trying to catch, whatever's moving, whatever's volatile, trading those, and not marrying them, not trying to like bag hold free positions for the rest of your life. There's a balance somewhere in there, but I've kind of gravitated a little bit away from that. I'm not so interested in that, especially as I really just want to keep my focus on crypto, especially this year. Like there's just going to be a shit ton of money to be made in crypto this year, I believe. So I probably won't be, doing too much like sort of little old lady stock trading. We'll see how it goes though. Anyway, geez, I guess I'll talk about stocks today. Uh anyway, I wanted to move on to crypto a little bit here. And I'll just, with Coinbase, like maybe this is foreshadowing a potential pullback in crypto, would be maybe a way of looking at that. And I think everything's hinging on this like potential ETF announcement, right? Like I suppose we have this like potential fundamental driver coming here. There might be an announcement this month about this stupid BlackRock ETF or whatever. But everything's sort of setting up as like a sell the news event, I would say. But the problem is I've also heard everybody on the planet saying that, so I don't know what's going to happen. But uh, actually, let me go back to where's my Bitcoin chart? I want to start here. So, I mean, weekly chart. I threw the moving averages on here just because I think I don't know, just a good way to just quickly say that Bitcoin is still very much in an uptrend here in the macro picture, weekly uptrend. I mean, we have the 200 just pointing higher. It offered support here. That's where the whole bottom came in, was a big head and shoulders right around the 200, and then support was found against it here and took off again. And we've just been making higher highs and higher lows. Now the medium term moving averages are cross bullish and pointing very much higher. Just like I was just saying about Coinbase, the 13 can be tested at any time. So at any moment, I could see price dumping down and testing that 13. But the reality is 61.8 is just right here at 48,500. And I just don't see a world where that doesn't get hit here. Like, we'll see what happens. Maybe we have to come down and hit the 13 first and then rip up. But I don't know. I have a feeling that's going to be hit. So 48.5 is sort of kind of a key level here, against the old high and 61.8. And going back to why, it seems like things are setting up for like a sell the news type event. Cause I mean, if everything always just happened perfectly textbook, then it would make sense that like that ETF announcement comes in right on the run up. Maybe they announce it, price shoots up even past it a little bit, who knows? And everybody's all excited about Bitcoin going to the moon because of this ETF, and turns out it's just like a sell the news, and we just come right back down and then have to actually fill the open air down here. That would be like textbook sell the news. But if everybody's thinking that way, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but that, what I do think is that 61.8 will probably be hit, and either way, that's some kind of resistance. So I'll be watching to see what happens when that level gets hit. And I suppose if you're like a investor, these are profit taking areas, not buying areas, right? The 50% level here would have been a nice first area to think about taking profit if you were long off the bottom. It's a pretty good place for that in general. And then now 61.8 would definitely be like a reasonable profit taking objective. So I mean, this is like a seller window for the smart money, not a new buyer area. So I don't think anybody should be putting on longs near the 50% level. That's typically not how we like to look at location. That's horrible location. But I will say this 61.8 tag looks an awful lot like back here in 2019, which I think is just kind of funny. I'm not saying it has to happen this way, but man, very similar, bear market, dead cat bounced right up into 61.8 and got rejected. I suppose something like that could easily happen here. So kind of be on the lookout for that. I would argue that that's kind of what I would like to see happen. Now, I don't know if I want to see a full-on black swan COVID again. But in my ideal world, I would say, I mean, first of all, there's a lot of like just kind of open air right here, right? We broke out hard and just sort of left a big gap in volume through the last, all these green candles basically. And so there is plenty of business that could be done down in here. And just like even the 200 and the trend line and stuff just kind of suggest there could be a lower or a higher low over here. So, maybe we do shoot up into 61.8's Fed or ETF announcement, knocks price back down, and we just actually come down and eventually set up the new bottom somewhere around here. That's what I would consider like ideal scenario for Bitcoin, because, well, for a couple reasons. One, if we just shoot straight up and come up into 78.6, 88.6, this is going to be a full-on parabolic move. And I think that increases the likelihood that this is actually a range. And as we get up into the top of the old highs, up at the top of the range, we're more likely to like see M's and stuff, and maybe you have to come back down into the range. So I don't really love that scenario so much. I kind of like getting rejected at Mountain Man and coming back and forming a higher low in here. That'll also set up like buy opportunities for altcoins. Maybe some of these altcoins that have been flying can come back down into reload zones and set up what might end up being the last buying opportunity before the bull market if we get that, maybe we go straight into a bull from here. But so in terms of like ideal world, I'd like to see like a lower high being set up over here against the 200 again. I mean, we're making higher highs and higher lows. We're definitely in an uptrend. Bitcoin's not broken here. I mean, we're taking out range highs right now. It's yet to be determined whether that's an FU and we actually collapse right here. But there's no reason to think we are going to. RSI got a little overbought here, but it hasn't M'd out. And then OBV is actually pointing higher in a big W I see here. So it's kind of putting in like a tiny little M at the moment, but I just see this big W. So like, there's no reason to think the trend's not still up, is all I'm saying. Especially on a weekly chart. Definitely no top. But like going back to that Coinbase chart, like maybe it's foreshadowing this rollover a little bit. Like maybe, who knows, maybe the insiders at Coinbase are already selling there because they just made a boatload of money because Coinbase rallied hard. So, maybe we do get this mountain man and then roll over, and Coinbase is kind of giving us a little bit of a heads up for that. It's hard to call that top right now, though, because there's not a breakdown here. Even like on the dailies, I don't think you can say there's a breakdown. We've taken out range highs, could easily become an FU. In fact, we haven't closed, we're not closing above yet. And RSI, to be fair, on the dailies is in divergence, bearish RSI divergence. OBV still pointing higher. So it's like no real top, but you could see it. Maybe we have to pull back a little bit. But it just seems like even if we dip here a bit, we're still going to probably hit that 61.8. Seems pretty likely. Of course, now that I'm saying that, it probably won't happen. So what else can I say about all Bitcoin? Let's see. Just catching up on the chat a little bit. When I do these shows by myself, I always have to sort of force myself to look at the chat because I'll forget. And who knows, you guys might be in there telling me that I'm on mute or something. I guess I'll look at Ethereum really quick. I suppose I've only been talking 36 minutes. I do feel like I was going to just try to do like a quick sort of overview, but of course I never can quite do that. And somehow we veered off on stocks a little bit, which is great. And I'm happy to talk about that stuff too. And really Ethereum, I mean, it is a different perspective, so a different picture than Bitcoin in a way, and actually looks a lot more, kind of looks more based. That's like, I don't know if I mean that in the like degenerate Gen Z version of based, but it might be that too. But it looks like it has a stronger base than Bitcoin because it hasn't actually rallied that much yet. Is a funny thing, but talking about 200 period moving averages on the weekly again, you can see the strong support that came in, which is basically the trend line too. So this is sort of that uptrend that's been building, but it hasn't been as straight up as Bitcoin. But basically what has happened is, we had established like this kind of range throughout the whole year, going back to even last August of 2022. Classic FU here. They tried to break out the range with a big old W and couldn't, and then found support against the 200 again. And now we've pretty strongly broken out of that range here now for several, months at this point. But funny enough, we ran right up into 38.2 and have been rejected now for a couple weeks. Even we got the first 38.2 tag that got rejected, and then now we're testing it a couple more times the last 2 weeks. And that's resistance right there. But really, I mean, we're just like pushing higher, and just like the DXY, we might have to bounce around in 30, and just like Bitcoin for that matter, probably have to play around here in the dump chaser zone for a bit. But man, Ethereum looks kind of just like, this kind of looks like it could easily keep going higher. It's not up at 61.8 like Bitcoin is. I mean, it's just sort of getting started. And if anything, these are big W's, right? So I don't know, 61.8 for Ethereum's 3,300. So who knows? But of course, it's going to follow Bitcoin a little bit. So, maybe if Bitcoin does that 61.8 rejection, then Ethereum's probably going to run into some traffic here and maybe roll over. But the support window is like tighter. I mean, we have support at the 200 basically here. So like 1,800 against the trend line even could be that sort of higher low that I was talking about with Bitcoin too. But Ethereum looks pretty good. I mean, certainly by no means do either Bitcoin or Ethereum show very much weakness on the weekly chart. It's just kind of coming up into locations where that sort of ETF announcement could make sense for a sell the news type thing. And 61.8 is a pretty, even if Bitcoin just hits 61.8, pulls back, and then runs up into the reload zone afterwards, that would still be pretty normal. But usually it's not uncommon to see some sort of rejection at 61.8, even if it's only temporary. And then, of course, you could say the same about 38.2. Even if it's just temporary, it's not uncommon to see some like traffic here at least. And so I think Ethereum's just going through that. And like in terms of upside for Ethereum, I mean, I think new highs down the road are probably on the table, but for right now, even just inside the range, I mean, there is quite a lot of room for Ethereum to push higher still. So I mean, I guess when I say all this out loud, I'm just kind of thinking the same thing. It's like Bitcoin's basically in an uptrend. If it can sort of at least go sideways-ish and maybe put in a higher low down the road, and just kind of stay in that uptrend for the most part. And then I look at something like Ethereum like this, that looks just bullish to me, to be honest. Then everything's set up for like altcoin, altcoin, a pleasurable altcoin year. I don't know. Seems like everything's sort of set up for relatively bullish crypto land this year. So I mean, again, been saying this for a while, but I'm definitely like a buy the dip kind of person. I'm not like a crypto who's going to zero type person here at all going forward. Like even with something like Ethereum, any dips against the 200 here are buy opportunities in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, as an investor, yeah, it'd be nice to get reload zone type levels, but they might not come in. You kind of see like a little sort of channel-y kind of thing, upwards channel building here where, so maybe Bitcoin or Ethereum shoots up a little higher here and then pulls back. But I definitely see kind of like a upwards parallel channel building here. So in general, just pushing higher, it looks pretty good. I think it's just kind of like, can we get enough of a dip to rebuy altcoins is sort of the, MO here. So ETH looks like a bear flag to me. Ooh, yeah. So I mean, you could, yeah. So Nathaniel's saying that ETH looks like a bear flag to him. Yeah, sure. So that would be the bearish take on Ethereum. Is this is actually a flag here, and we're gonna, yeah, we'd have to, of course, lose. Probably that trend line would be like the bottom of the flag or something. So yeah, we'd have to really break down for that to start coming in. Maybe you're right. I mean, to be fair, we're a little overcooked. RSI is a little bit overbought here. I'm more likely to still think, I'm going to stick with what I just said anyway. I'm a pullbacks or buying opportunities type person going forward here. I'm a crypto bull going forward here. So like any dips into filling that area is just kind of cleaning up business, setting up for the next run. Could be wrong. We'll see. But either way, maybe talk about some altcoins here for a bit. And what can I say about altcoins? I did put, like, I was playing around with crypto bubbles, and I put the year on here, and just it's kind of funny to just see the, I guess this is the last year basically, and definitely some high flyers here. I see this radium, and I'm like, damn, where was I with this? Because we spent the last few weeks trading on Solana, having fun, trading the stupid Solana memes and stuff, and of course using radium. And I just, man, that thing has been ripping, and I was just so like not even paying attention to this, but clearly it's up 900% on the year. And anyway, this is the top 200 names, I guess. So clearly the year was positive for crypto. I mean, nobody is surprised by that. But it is kind of funny how we did just basically go sideways for the whole accumulation year, like we had basically talked about all year in our crypto weekly review show. We had like the first quarter rally sort of up into March, April-ish, and then pullbacks to reload zones gave everybody a chance to reload on a lot of things, not everything, but a lot of things came all the way back down. And then, of course, if you're there to buy again, then you're enjoying the current green in crypto. That's now sort of been like the second alt season of 2023. And now we just basically ran right up into, I mean, Bitcoin basically made new highs right into the beginning of the year. So I don't know what that means, but do we get one more chance to buy is all that really I can think about. Like, I don't, if we don't, then it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just work with what I have. But if we do get one more chance to buy, I definitely think that that's the time to step up. So if you're not long already, hopefully, if you've been paying attention all year, hopefully you're long something. And if you're not, then you're kind of hoping for that little Bitcoin rollover at 61.8, like I was just talking about, to give us some opportunities to buy stuff. But the reality is, there's nothing I can really tell you to go. Well, I shouldn't go tell anybody to buy anything, to be honest. But it's kind of hard to find something viable at the moment. I mean, there's some things, like off the top of my head, I think about this MDX was one that I guess was maybe David's idea that I bought here. And not to get hung up on this specific coin, but there are a few things that are kind of like this where they have put in some decent W's. We're starting to get moving averages crossing to the upside, but it hasn't really taken off yet, and very likely we're probably gonna still bump along down here. So you can find stuff like this. It's just a question of, like, are you too late? Like, should we just kind of be patient here and let the sort of high flyers decide what they're gonna do first? Before going and loading up on too many of these. I mean, I don't know. Not really saying what you should do. I've been I already bought this one, but this is just one that if you can find something like this, then that's buyable. But for the most part, most stuff's just like taken off, and it's like not really a good time to be. Well, it's hard to buy. It's hard to do things like investment buy weekly W's right here. But there's one. There's one that is sort of doable. But I wanted to look at some other, like, I wanted to look at Sol for one just because I think this also paints the picture of a potential pullback here coming. And of course, I've been paying more attention to Sol the last few weeks because I've been degenning away in our degen room with those guys trading boner names and whatever, which I could do a whole show on that. Maybe I'll do that later, but I've been having a lot of fun with that, and definitely want to keep improving my on-chain trading, because I mean, timing wise, for one, it works for me just in the sense that I've been kicked off everything except Kraken and Coinbase. So there's no reason why I shouldn't be on chain anyway. But also, that's where the money's at, man. And it just is a reminder that, like, crypto's funny. It's like sometimes you got to just chase the narratives, and if you're willing to sort of do things that other people don't want to do, like me personally, I was too lazy to do too much on-chain trading last cycle. Like I did a little bit, but not really. And I was just kind of like part lazy, part like not wanting to fuck with it. I don't know. And the funny thing is, I had to pay the price for that because I missed out on some insane opportunities. And this whole Sol meme coin rally from the last few weeks just reminded me of how if you're willing to sort of do the dirty work and learn how to use these protocols and learn how to identify what's trendy and what's got momentum behind it, then, and I'm not even saying I'm good at that. I want to be good at it. But clearly, like, Sol meme coins have been a narrative that's been working for the last few weeks. And those things, like, to be fair, are super risky, shitty market. And like, most of my picks sucked, to be honest. But I had enough banger wins to come out ahead, even with a bunch of dogs too. And so it's a tricky way of trading for sure. But the point being is, things were moving like crazy, and if you're willing to jump in, and if you have like your sort of basic risk management down and your trading plan down, then there's just so many opportunities in crypto going forward in that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know if Sol's going to be the only one. Clearly, I don't think it will be. But like, point being is, I'll definitely be trying to focus more on those things going into this year or two. And I'll keep doing my Coinbase and Kraken plan for sure too, just because it's already built into my whole strategy. I'm not going to change any of that. I've already been, I spent the whole last year accumulating coins, and I don't even know how many free positions I've had, but I've probably had, like, I don't know, 30 doubles in December, maybe more. I don't know. I probably I'd have to count. So clearly I'm not going to stop doing that, but my attention is definitely also on Solana for the moment. And I don't know, maybe like a SEI chain next, or I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm going to be looking at the people in the group to help me determine where I should start, which chains I should focus on going forward. But I think Solana is going to be a big player nonetheless, because it's cheap as hell to trade and it seems pretty relatively fast. I even had some limit orders. I definitely had some limit orders that didn't get filled where I wanted them. Uh, like two different ones where like my double levels got hit and I didn't get a fill, which is to be expected. But point being is even limit orders were working pretty good. And I'm kind of excited about it. Kind of got me more excited about crypto. I'd sort of felt like a little bit more just, I don't know, like a little mad at crypto this last year because of like getting kicked off KuCoin was sort of like the final headache. I just, so many of those things have happened for me in the US. And when I got kicked off KuCoin, it was super annoying because I'd also like, I kind of liked KuCoin, so I was even buying stuff on KuCoin that I should have been buying on Kraken where I wouldn't have had this problem. And so it was like extra pain in the ass and whatever. Kind of made me a little bit more disheartened with crypto. But Carol got me kind of excited about Solana a few weeks ago and kind of breathed some new life into sort of the fun of actually using this shit and actually fucking around with the wallets and actually to see dexes really work. Because when I first, my first experiences with dexes was they were sucky. Like in 2017 they barely existed and just wasn't really usable. And it's cool to see how 5 years later that shit's. I definitely see the future of like how, I mean, trading's transforming because of crypto. So anyway, I was kind of excited about that, but it's made me think about Solana a little bit more, and really, I'll just I just wanted to point out that Solana's looking a little shaky right here, I think. So I don't know, maybe the meme coin rally in Solana might be coming to a close here. Definitely seems like a little bit less momentum as there was like 3 weeks ago. It was like basically everything was just ripping. Now it's like there's even more meme coins. I mean, I don't even know if it's true, but I thought I saw that there was like 6,000 new tokens being issued a day. I don't know if that number was accurate, and I went try to find it again, and I couldn't find the chart. It was on one of the blockchain explorers or something, but I saw that they were like there was like 6,000 new coins being issued a day. And of course, there's all kinds of shit memes, and that's what all those were. But maybe that's coming to the. If anything, maybe you should at least be. I'm like trying to not put on too many more new positions unless they look really good to me for the moment, and just kind of let things settle down a little here. But point being is Solana obviously rips straight up here. Huge move. Damn, this is like monster move. Right up into the dump chaser zone, and really from a weekly chart it doesn't look like super broken. I mean, it looks like it could potentially be like an empire top here right at 38.2. So that's like a reasonable location to see a pullback here, and there's clearly open air below, and the 13 EMA is way down here, so like $72 could be tested. I mean, it's going to keep pointing up as the days go on, but until 13 EMA gets tested, I mean, there's not really a lot to say. The bull's still kind of, intact here going up. However, we are in a location where rollover doesn't seem out of the question. And when you zoom in just a little bit, the thing that I don't love about Solana is it just kind of did the classic 61 point, it basically established this range. Pretty good example of like on a daily chart, 13 EMA support. The trend's up. We kind of got away from the moving averages a bit, had to come back against them. Actually even put in a little bit of a W here. And so really the trend is still up, but this little rejection here is sort of like a warning sign, I think. So we'll just see what happens. This could turn into an M here. And I think an M in Solana here on the daily chart, that might be the sort of like run out of gas that altcoins could be headed into. Maybe we could pick like another like platform coin to like what's like maybe like FTM. I don't know. Just picking some names out. Let's look at it here on. So like you could see the same thing. So like this one's actually in a reload zone, but Phantom is also making a potential M. Looks like it got the same kind of 61.8 rejection here. So still very strong to the upside, but could be putting in an M here in a reload zone down the road here. So just be watching these things like this. If we start seeing M's in here, then yeah, maybe we have to start pulling back into the range here, and that'll be that kind of pullback window that I'm sort of hoping for. maybe like what's another one? OP was a high flying. I mean, it's a layer 2, I think, but it's still applicable. It's another one that this one's actually maybe buying. Well, it's still just grinding new highs here, so I don't know. That might not be the best example, but you can still see that potential M could come in. Not yet, but could. Yeah, Paul's. I didn't even. Paul said his call is the best on DGen. It's true. I took one of Paul's calls, and I think my it was actually like well over 100x. Now I didn't like diamond hand all the way to 100x, but I still have some of the Soulzilla, so I didn't even sell everything yet. But yeah, it was like fucking 140x or something from my lowest buy to my. Well, no, that's not true. From my lowest buy, it was more, but from my average cost to the highs was like 140. So holy shit. And that was the Paul call. So perfect example of just like somebody was asking me how to do this, and I was just kind of like, I don't know. I was just taking the shit that we had a good run there where everybody was just posting ideas in the room. That was one of my first Solana trades actually. That was like one of the first ones I took. And it's a good example of that. I mean, I don't want to get into that strategy too much, or I have a lot of thoughts on that. That's like a whole show. But I mean, real simply put, I will say that selling half on a double is crucial in that strategy, in my opinion. Like it's kind of like aping in, getting your capital back as quickly as possible, and then just letting. Because like, I mean, I even have another one like, like here's a pretty good example. I'll just show you guys one like. What was the one from last years from Paul? Oh, did you trade Solana, Paul? Solana. I don't know if you hear me, but like this is a good example of those stupid trades. Do I have it on here? Yeah. So these lines are all crazy, but this was one of Paul's ideas too from last night. And to just decode my lines here, fuck, it's like hard for me. So like let's see, what did I do here? I bought well, I don't remember which. Oh, I bought the blue one, the light blue first. Anyway, point being, I loaded up here, so I bought two. I bought once there and once there, basically, and then price just crapped out. But look, it went down. Like, how far did it go down? Then I went to bed, and it went. This kind of trading is insane. Like, maybe my average cost is right there. It went down 90% overnight. But later I bought some more here. So these are basically my double levels. So I got, I bought more right here, and then I went to bed and it went totally underwater. And then by the morning I was waking up to seeing like doubles here on this is my third car. I mean, the way I'm doing these, like I just was going to sell halves on each of these, but funny enough is I got my double there. Then I got, let's see. Then I got this one off here. And the funny thing is this is the craziest thing. It hit my third double level, but I haven't sold that yet because I didn't even look at it. This is a 1 hour chart. I mean, this is like only like 24 hours or however many hours is right there. And so I've gotten two doubles and I technically hit my third double level here. Of course, it would have been impossible to get a sell off there. And actually, this is kind of like I had another one where I had a limit order working on Jupiter, and when price runs up and only hits it like that, the chances of getting filled seem low. I didn't get filled on that one on my limit order, but you can see how now they're already like they hit my level, then they've already taken it all the way back down to like my buy, because that blue was my second buy or first, or I can't even remember. Well, yeah, that would have been my first. I was looking at like a 1 hour, 1 minute chart. On these. Yeah, see, I first aped in here against the 21 EMA, which is just sort of how I've been kind of doing it. And then look how they just took it. This is a horrible place to be buying, to be fair. This opens up a whole other thing of like location on these kind of things. And I don't know, like this is like full on degen trading. This thing opened up down here and then only like 3 hours later, I was just kind of hoping that this 21 was going to hold and they were going to rip it, you know. So I was looking to get my double here. And then I bought a little bit more down here. Then went 90% underwater. Well, I bought some more down here at the 21 again. And so anyway, my only point is this kind of shit is fucking insane. And I had to go all the way underwater overnight. And then sure enough, this thing started going again. Well, no. Oh, Paul, sorry. Yeah, Soulzilla. Sorry, I'm talking about two different names here because I got kind of excited talking about this one, but Soulzilla is the other one that went like 100. I actually even reloaded on it too, and then it bounced and wouldn't give me. And now I'm like underwater my reload. But let's see where do I have my entry. See, this is the thing about deck screeners. It keeps fucking my entries up, but or these things always move. Yeah, because this was my average cost one here, so I mean this one went insane. So that's like 150 to the top X, but I'm not saying I sold that. I'm just saying it went that high, but I did pretty damn good. I'm not complaining at all, but I didn't bang a true 100X out on it. And actually off my lowest buy was this little one down here, which was even higher. Yeah, that one was like technically like 250. But my last sell was up in this area, and then it fucking collapsed. And I tried to buy it at 78.6 again here, and it was giving me a bounce, but it looks like this thing's dead. So I don't know. Are these dead now? I'm not sure. Like today I only have, well, I don't have any new ones, but I have, like this bongo is another example of one that, same thing, man. I like, this one's going to, I have to like decode these, but I got 2 doubles in that first rally, and then I bought back on the third car, and then had to go like massively underwater through all that time on the third car, but kept my other 2 free positions. And then here, now it's actually going again. I sold some up here earlier today. And I actually had another sell in this area here as it started losing the 21, as we lost the 21. Because I've been using the 21 EMA, kind of like how I use the 200. I don't want to get into all that right now, but I've been using the 21 EMA to sort of trade these. So anyway, now I'm, I guess I am talking about these now here. Anyway, it's been like an hour. I guess I could show, well, I don't have, now I got so off track. I mean, I don't have like a lot of great things to share in regular crypto land. Like I don't have any bright ideas. If anything, I'm just kind of getting back in the swing of things. And like I said, there's not really any weekly W's to buy right at the moment. So we got to wait for a pullback now. But I suppose if you want to trade these, like, I don't know if these have any, I haven't looked at anything new today, but I mean, there's like some of my dogs that they're not total dogs, but we were kind of excited about like this Frogo for a while. We could look at that one today. See, the question is like if I saw this on like a centralized exchange and it was a weekly chart, I'd be like, oh, cool. There's a weekly W right there. We're coming back down against it. I like that candle body high breakout level, but this is a 4-hour chart, not a weekly chart. And the problem is like, is this it? Like, is it going to go to 0 here, or is it going to turn into one of those ones like that I had showed you that took a while? They had to come all the way back down to the bottom. They bounced around for a while, and then they took off and potentially do like 100Xs. I mean, I can show you a lot of these. Like even this one, I went in and reloaded. I mean, we were trading it because part of it is like, so like, and this is the part I'm not that good at. Carol seems to be really good at it. I mean, I got some horrible entries in these. Like, do I have this one? Actually, I don't know if I have them drawn. These are my newer entries. I did step in here and, I mean, even that one, like I aped in right there. That's a horrible place to, if this was like a weekly chart, I should be shamed for that. But in this kind of trading, when I saw it bust through the 200 or the 21 here, sorry, and I just, by the time I got my shit together enough to actually get my order in, that was my fill after everything was up here. So pretty chasey. And then of course it just like it almost doubled, and then it came back down, and I did buy some more here, and banged out doubles on both of those. But those weren't my original. I guess I don't have my originals in here, but I mean, I bought a bunch of them kind of in this area and just got wrecked, like, you know, thinking they were going to kind of keep going. And so this whole thing is like, I mean, there's this sort of chase in at the beginning and try to ride that initial burst. But if you're not in quick enough, you're going to get run over like this. And that's why when I started this with the whole sell half on a doubles, like almost like if you can ape into one of these sell half on a double and then let it do this, then okay, fine. Like this one in particular is not going back in your favor if you're long from up here, but it might, you know. And so I don't have any great insight into this. I've been kind of chasing into them and now trying to be a little bit more patient and a little you know, a little better about timing my entries. But of course you're just sort of market ordering into these, and you know, you can work limit orders, but actually on these real shit coins, even the limit orders, Jupiter doesn't seem to see a lot of these. So some of them you can, some of them you can't work orders. Anyhow, what's my point is like, do you buy something like this now? I'm not sure. I don't know. It's like in theory, you know, in theory, like I like location, and like it's down at 78.6. It's like trying to maybe get some W's going. And that's why I've liked using this. I mean, my sort of general thought is like, I'm using the 21 EMA as like, as a trend indicator here, where it's like, as long as we're below the 21 and it's pointing down, I'm not that excited. I'm really looking for situations where the 21 will kind of go like that, and price will sort of kind of start working its way through. And then if I can buy like right there and try to capture the rip, that's sort of my, like that's what I did here. You know, you can see, even though my fills weren't like amazing, you can see strong downtrend, rejected off the 21, popped through it really fast, and I just aped. I'm not recommending anybody does this, by the way. I'm just saying what I did. I aped, and then I bought the retest too. And that worked out on this one, but they haven't always worked. But that's sort of my general thinking. So like going forward here on this one, like I like the story. It's like Frodo from Lord of the Rings, and they have like this they have like an awesome website here, which you can check out on your own time, but it seems like a pretty good one. This was one of the ones that like one of the smarter people in our room originally picked, but point being is like, I guess I would take a shot on this, but I just want to see that 21 resolve better. I don't want to buy it right here like I might consider, you know, like on a bigger altcoin, we might be interested in just going ahead and buying 78.6 here. I think that's dangerous because, dude, these things, at any point, this could just be down here. Like you can even see it trying right now. It'll probably, I mean, I'm looking at a 1 hour chart right here, but you know, sometimes I'm looking at 5 minutes and even 1 minute on these like brand new ones. This one's not brand new anymore. Point being, I don't think I can buy that one right here. I'd rather wait. Is there ones that might be turning like, I mean, all of these are shit. I mean, I have free positions on like, I think like about, well, I mean, honestly, my picks have only been about 45% I have been good. Like most of my picks have been shitty, but I've been lucky enough to bang out doubles on a lot of the shitty picks still. And then they just go to zero. And all in all, my account's up quite a bit actually. So seemed to be a worthy endeavor. And I definitely want it going forward. I'm definitely gonna be doing this. The question is I don't know if it's like how much aping I want to do today. Like 2 weeks ago, it was like I was kind of just like anytime somebody posted something in the chat that looked like relatively reasonable, I just went and grabbed it. And usually it was kind of like in this kind of area. It would be like it would rip, I would usually miss the first rip or maybe miss that first rip. And if I was lucky, I could buy some sort of pullback here, like pump chaser zones. And then usually it goes underwater another 50% first and turn around or something. So that was kind of like a couple weeks ago. I was willing to just sort of do that. And keep in mind, my risk management's on point here. I'm taking, it's like no stop, but also taking small bets and also not really worried about it. So it's like, just like kind of like little old lady style, it's like risking to zero. And so, I mean, that's key. If you're going to do this kind of stuff, you can't be like aping in with your life savings and shit, because you'll just get destroyed. But if you can like take a bunch of bets and each bet isn't going to kill you, then like you can feel comfortable in sort of trying to wait for those 100 Xers, that's the goal. So, anyway, point being, I was like aping into those. Now I don't think let's just look, see if there's any new things. We could go to, I'll go to new pairs on just Solana. Wow, that one's got a lot of liquidity. About 365K liquidity. That's funny. It's probably not. So like, this is a pretty good example of one though. So a couple weeks ago, it was like, okay, fuck it. Like I'd probably go ahead and hit that level, but I'll usually drill down to like a 5 minute or a 1 minute even. And, like this one's, obviously if you can catch this first rip, that's your best bet. Like if you're somehow involved, like Carol seems to be better at, he's more in tune with like what's going on. And so he seems to be finding them like somewhere in here and actually taking these huge moves. But I found myself missing most of these, or maybe aping in a little late and maybe getting lucky to get a double. But it seems like they all kind of, they run up and they pull back. And this one's sort of based around Mountain Man here. And it's like 2 weeks ago, I'd have probably been like, sure, fuck it, I'll just go hit it. Right now, I kind of feel like the steam's been a little bit left, like kind of taken out of these. And like I said, Solana looks a little heavy to me. So I'm kind of like, I'm a little more hesitant is the only point I'm trying to make. But I like to throw the 21 EMA on here, and I'm just really looking for like a nice consolidation around it with like W's through it, kind of like it did back here. Like see how it started W'ing right through it right there? That's sort of the area I'm looking to try to buy these things. And it's just in my mind, it's like this is a 1 minute chart. The market's moving insanely volatile and fast, and it's a new thing. So if it's going to pump, it's going to pump. And I'd rather just try to go with the trend here. And to me, a break through the 21 EMA is like especially in this sort of situation with a W, that's a really good chance that the trend is going to start to the upside. Now, like right here, you could have maybe bought there and gotten run over. So I'm not saying it works every time. It certainly does not. Or even right here, we broke through the 21. But there is kind of a difference between the way these look. Like this one's like, it kind of hit resistance a few times and then it broke through and came back and checked it bullishly. Like that's kind of what you're looking for. We didn't really get bullish checks there so much, a little bit there. But anyway, that's sort of what I'm looking for. So like if I open something up like this looks like it's still trending down to me. It didn't find any real support here. So I'll just let it kind of, this 21 will probably, and this is again a 1 minute chart. Holy shit. I probably shouldn't even be talking about 1 minute charts here, but even on a 5 minute, you can see it too. It's like still trending down. So I want to see this kind of, before I'm excited about this, it's got to kind of do something like that. And we'll eventually sort of do something like that and change the trend. I'd rather be a buyer around here than right here. So anyway, that's just kind of like, my thinking, but with these going forward, like, I don't know if I'm going to be really patient about stuff like this. I mean, this thing's just from today. I'm thinking, yeah, January 2nd. So this is a brand new thing. I don't even know what it is, Dragon Soul. I'm not saying go trade this. I was just using it as an example. Like this Drogo we could look at too. Like here's one where, yeah, if you could have aped in and caught the move here, then it looks like there was a pretty big, 3x or so in there, depending on where you got in. Same thing here, though. I'll probably start with the 1 minute chart since it's like brand new and just kind of look at the 200 and say, yeah, it looks like it's trending down for now too. So We missed the first move, put in a big old M. So I'll probably just kind of patiently wait for that, to set up. Like in this case, it looks like a pump chaser zone kind of thing. Anyway, that's just kind of how I've been sort of thinking about these, but I don't think it's just not the same as it felt 2 weeks ago. I'll just say that. I'll end with that. I'm a little more hesitant. Oh, cool. Paul's saying he made 2x on Dragon, that first one. And then, yeah, and he said he exited his entire position and it's not the best environment. I agree. So yeah, it's a little late to be starting your Solana meme coin experience here. He said he took 0.1% bet on Frogo Soul. So maybe that was recently you did. So point being, like, I would suggest for anybody, I'll end with this. If you haven't traded on Solana, I say, you should at least, if you're interested in this stuff, get set up to do it. And I think even like the Phantom wallet airdrop might be coming soon. So if you set up Phantom wallet, PHA, I would suggest just getting a Phantom wallet going and then, getting set up, just kind of getting experience working with Radium and Jupiter, which, like, you can see this pair, right? And this is dexscreener.com, but dexscreener.com is probably, there's Dex tools as well, but this one seems to be the one I like. I don't know. Seems to be the one that most people are using. But you can see that this pair is actually the Radium pair. So we're actually looking at Solana or Drogo versus Solana on Radium. So yeah, trade on Radium and Jupiter, just kind of get set up and make some swaps, or something, just to sort of get the airdrop requirements in. And if you're in our group, you can go to our airdrop room and search Phantom Wallet, and there's a video about all that. But more, not even talking about the airdrop, just more getting set up. You just get your Phantom Wallet going, practice connecting to Radium and Jupiter and making some swaps, and just start building a trading plan to take advantage of these. So that whatever the next thing is, I think Solana is going to have plenty of trading opportunities going forward, but maybe there's going to be other chains too. So you'll have to learn each one. But the point is get your act in order now to take advantage of the next one, because it's like once they happen, I felt pretty good about just jumping in. But if you don't have your, these are like, I'm seriously talking about like 1 minute charts and stuff here. This is essentially like scalping the most volatile markets you can find. They move like 100% in like minutes, and they'll go 100% and come 100% back down. So it's like not for the faint of heart, but you don't have to trade that way too. You could slow it down, but you got to get set up. So I think the first step for everybody is just making sure you learn how to use all the protocols. And maybe we can talk more about these. Well, I'll be talking about this going forward, and maybe even like on Tuesdays in these shows, I might start directing more attention to these type of trades, just because we do have our weekly crypto review on Sunday, where we're talking about sort of the bigger altcoin investment plan. And we'll keep doing that, starting up again here on Sunday with Paul and I. And so maybe I'll keep doing these on Tuesday and talk about this stuff a little bit more. Like I said, for me going forward, I feel kind of dumb saying it, because it's like, yeah, you should have done this like 2 years ago. So it's sort of silly for me to say it right now, but I'm really, like, my eyes were away. I was woken up to the fact that I can't ignore these opportunities. So I'm planning on taking advantage of them going forward. And it's just awesome to see, like, to see how much all this stuff's progressed, actually. Like, it's cool to see the technology just getting better. But, anyway, I'll probably leave it at that for today. Kind of a wonky ass show as usual, but Happy New Year to everybody. And like I said, we'll be back full steam this week. So if you're already a member of our Discord, then you can jump in our New York session tomorrow. We'll be back for the trading session during the New York Open tomorrow, and then every day, Monday through Friday, and on Tuesdays that's open to the general public. So definitely pop in on Tuesdays. You just have to be a member of our Discord, which on our cryptotradersarena.com, you can just come in here and either click Discord right there and join up, or I think there's another link somewhere else in here. But you can just go to cryptotradersarena.com and join the free side of our Discord. And through that, you can get like the the trading plan that we're working for the Sunday show. And, there's a chat room for, we post ideas in there. You're welcome to pop in and ask any questions. And I guess the last thing I'll say is we're getting ready to fire up another round of our Capio 1 training program. So we are teaching people how to do this, teaching people the process, teaching people how to do it the right way, and also just kind of really focusing on getting people to a place where they can execute trades in the market. And so we've sort of separated into the Capio 1 and Capio 2 programs, both of which are starting up soon here. But if you're new to trading and new to us, then Capio 1 is the place to start. And essentially, we're just teaching everybody the process in Capio 1, how to actually act as a professional trader and get you to the level where you can at least be like swing trading and taking setups in the market. And then if you want to, if your goal is to become like a day trader or a scalp trader type thing, and even like getting, sort of, this sort of meme shitcoin trading that I was just talking about, it's a hellscape, and I'm sure people were getting wrecked left and right here, but like it's like the same process applies. And if you're able to manage your behavior and manage your risk and keep your bet sizes in order so that you're not doing things like, going all in on one, or, maybe you have a win on one coin, and so the next one you put in 5 times as much capital, and then that's a loser. And so you're just like, you're causing, disaster to your equity curve just through poor risk management. That's probably the easiest way to get wrecked in those kind of markets. But I think Capio 1 program sets you up perfectly to then go and build a strategy where you can take advantage of these sort of super volatile altcoin moves that are going to be happening on chain. So yeah, I'd love to help you with that. And we're definitely going to start that here in the next couple of weeks. So reach out to me directly if you are interested in that. And of course, if you want to do Capio 2, you got to do Capio 1 first, or at least kneel at the altar of King Paul and prove to him that you have, 5,000 log trades. But yeah, we're not really letting people skip on unless you can prove that you're already sort of beyond Capio 1's sort of scope. Because of course, at the end of the day, we're really just trying to build a community of professional traders. And I think the best way for us to do that is actually just teach everybody the process ourselves. And I think our approach is I like our approach because it's simple, straightforward, and it just sort of gets cuts to the chase in terms of the actual sort of curriculum that you need to learn. Because the funny thing is, like, there's a million things to go learn in like technical analysis, and you can read a million books about trading. Funny enough, I have like a stack of like 10 or 15 trading books from like the 90s that belonged to my dad that I was just unpacking movement because I was clearing out some storage, and I found these old books, and it's just kind of cracked me up because it's just, I was thumbing through them and just laughing at how like there's just an endless sea of information to learn about trading. But like, there wasn't one fucking thing I could learn from any of those books, to be honest. Like, or that's not true. I could learn things in there, but there's not one thing in any of those books that I could read right now that would help my trading. I've already learned everything I need to know. It's like, really the question is, can I implement it and execute it? And can I build a system that gives me an edge that I can exploit over a series of trades? And can I just sort of keep doing what works and less of what doesn't? That's like the things that once you have sort of the base core tools, you just need to work on yourself. Like, so much of trading is more about you and your behavior. And so, we try to avoid the pitfalls of endless rabbit hole chasing. And Paul likes to say, professional student. We're trying to be a professional trader, not a professional student. And so our goal with the Capio 1 is to just basically give you the tools you need to get started right away trading like we trade, and then just jump in and start trading with us. And of course, you're going to go and learn other things later. And we want to sort of set the foundation so that you can go and learn a new tool, for example, and then incorporate it into your plan, without sort of like hitting the reset button and going off a whole other tangent and like running down the wrong path all of a sudden. It's like the core basics that we'll teach you will get you started. And then if you want to go learn Bollinger Bands or something else, or you want to like sort of learn from, well, like John Bollinger. He's one of my favorites, and that's what happened to me. I like sort of learned sort of trading the TRI way, and then I kind of learned about John Bollinger, and turns out they're very. I mean, the funny thing is there's a lot of similarities, but I kind of learned about volatility squeezes, and I started going down that path, and that was fine. I think I did a little bit too much rabbit hole chasing in some ways, but at the same time I had like the core foundation to work from, so I could sort of loop that into and build a setup around that. I didn't like throw everything out I had learned, throw everything away that I'd learned previously and go down some new thing. And so that's what we're trying to do, is just set that foundation so that you can sort of build on that and just continually improve going forward. So hopefully that makes sense. And I have a lot of I've sat and contemplated a lot about what it means to teach people to trade lately, and I'm kind of excited to just, we got through our first semester, or whatever you want to call it, a Cap 1. I think it went pretty good, and I'm excited about the next one here. It'll be relatively small groups, so there'll be a lot of hands-on attention from Paul and and I don't know, we'd love to have you. So if you're new to us and interested in that, reach out to me. And otherwise, I think that's it for me. Paul says 500. I don't know what that means in the chat, but so anyhow, I think I'll call it a day here. Thanks for joining me. If you are still listening, of course, I'd always love some feedback. I don't claim to be the best YouTuber ever, but I am trying to do my best. And of course, this year too, probably be some changes, with our group as we continue to grow. And hopefully one of those changes is just me sort of refining this way of my own, just these shows all together. Like I would like to be a little more organized, a little bit more, I don't know, well produced perhaps. We do have I guess we'll probably be doing some new types of content here going forward, kind of like we did that Protectorate protocol interview that I did like a month ago or 3 weeks ago. Go back and find that on our YouTube if you want. But we're planning on doing some more stuff like that, where we're just bringing in some, different guests to talk about their projects, not necessarily even trading specific, but probably getting into the sort of mechanics of different crypto projects and stuff. I'm really looking forward to doing that, and also just improving my own knowledge of crypto in general. And so I don't know, hopefully this year I'll be able to improve on that. So, and with that said, any feedback you guys ever have for me, or if there's something you think I could do better, or if there's something you think would be more valuable to you that I could offer, then please let me know. I'd be happy to try to work towards making, the kind of shows people want, or building the community that people want to be a part of. So anyhow, I'll leave it at that. See you guys in New York session tomorrow if you're in the group, and otherwise I'll see everybody else on Sunday. It's 16 UTC for our Crypto Weekly Review show, which is right here, also on our website. So talk to y'all later. Have a good evening if you're on the other side of the planet as me, or a good afternoon if you're near me. So take care. Bye-bye.